Welcome, you've made it to your last module. Really well done. We've really engaged. We really enjoyed your engagement this year. You've made it to your last module. The idea now, obviously, with this module, you're complete. You've got Easter, and then we've changed things around a little bit. So you've got time now you finish a lot earlier. There's no exams. The idea is that you go out and get some experience working in schools or working with children. This is all for you to get some experience for your PGCE. So make sure you make use of the time. Obviously, find yourself on a beach somewhere, enjoy your summer, but really importantly, you try and maximise that time. I definitely book a meeting with Mel. She'd be aware of many of the opportunities that are linked to the university. I would also have a look on MetHub to have a look at some of the opportunities that you could volunteer potentially internationally or just within the university itself. We have loads of different schools, colleges, children, summer camps. So they always look to recruit Cardiff Met, especially primary education students, because you've got your DBS. So have a look at those. We can talk about that in the session, but today is all about your final module. So PES 4004. So this is AOLE 1 part 2. So you've done the first part with Dylan, the second part with me. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. Me and my many tabs. Here we go. So this is the introduction to your module. In today's session, I'm going to try to go as quick as I can, but we'll be discussing an overview of the module. We're going to be discussing the placement because this is a placement module, and we'll also be discussing the assessment for this, which is a blog. Okay, so this module is all about obviously the areas of learning and experience. Our focus is on the 3 cross-curricular skills that is embedded throughout the new Welsh curriculum. You've looked at literacy with Dylan. In this module, we're going to be looking at digital competence, and we're going to be looking at numeracy as well. We're going to be working with primary schools. It's going to be a really exciting module. So as you can see here, we're looking at the different theoretical perspectives on numeracy and digital literacy. I know, speaking to some of you, you said you're not really that confident with using technology. So hopefully by the end of this module, we can bump up those skills. Compare the effectiveness of different approaches with numeracy. Extend your ideas with cross-curricular learning, because at the heart of the new curriculum in Wales is linked to cross-curricular learning, and offer practical experience. This is a really hands-on module. So in the on-campus sessions, you're going to be making stuff. You're going to be creating things. This module is all linked to the new curriculum for Wales. So throughout your assessment, throughout the weeks, we would expect you to be engaging with the curriculum documents, which you can find if you just Google the curriculum for Wales. This is all about trying to familiarise yourself with the curriculum. Hopefully you're aware now that there's a new curriculum in Wales. This can be rolled out across the whole of Wales. So hopefully in this module, you'll get to grips with some of the structural ideas for that, and definitely with any digital literacy, digital technology, and any numeracy. So the focus, as I've said, is digital competence and numeracy. So as you're aware, there's different areas of learning and experience. We'll be exploring these in more detail in year 2, but we're just focusing today on this module of digital competence and with numeracy. And you've obviously done the literacy stuff with Dylan. There's a link there. Hopefully we're going to demonstrate some innovative ways that you could bring digital competence and numeracy within your practice. I can guarantee when you're going out onto placements, especially for next year, the first people the teachers are going to be asking is you guys, because you're being taught about the new curriculum. They're going to be looking for new special digital technology because you're younger, you're in university. Teachers will be asking you for ideas. So this is a really good starting place. Okay, we'll start off with a Moodle tour then. So if you just go on to PES 4005, you can see here latest news. So I'll be emailing you. Please read your emails. Really, really important. We've got a load of different sessions. We've got children coming in. We've got loads of things that are going on. Please keep on touch. Just look at your email. If you've missed anything, go to the latest news. It's all there. So general news and announcements linked to the module. There's a reading list there, really, really useful for your assessment. Obviously, you need to link to academic sources. Start here first. I've suggested all the reading you need to do is linked to this reading list. So have a look on there. We've been really nice. We've got a weekly content and schedule, and I come back to that, but it just lays out exactly where we are, when we are, what you're doing. Okay, the module essentials, which is there. You've got your lectures, your seminars, your placement, which might be different to other modules. Reading resources, again, there's a load of reading and resources that we've suggested to you. It's going to be really useful. There's the Welsh there, and everything linked to the assessment can be found on the assessment page. I just want to show you, if you go into the placement page, this is different to many of the other modules. Moodle is as fast as ever, as you can see, but the placement, the idea of the placement isn't just you doing 24 hours as a minimum in an alternative setting. That's important, but a big part of the placement is you starting to think about your career. It's you starting to think about, okay, you've had some experience in a secondary school. Whoa, it was not for me. I don't want to do it again. It's given you an informed decision that you want to do primary education. So on the placement module, obviously there's all information linked to the placement, which we'll come on to in a second, but also I want to flag, we're working really closely with careers. We'd expect you in year one now to book an initial meeting with careers. There's all information there about careers. They can help you with building your CV. They can help you with gaining key skills. They can help you to find a placement for year two in a primary setting and help you to plan your future. Mel is absolutely brilliant. You can book a meeting with her. There's Mel. Hello, Mel. You can book a one-to-one meeting with her if you go onto MetHub. There's a little video there explaining what careers do, how they can help you in year one. But the expectation is that you guys should start to now meet with careers, even if it's a short meeting, because in year two, you're going to be doing a lot more with careers and definitely more in year three that will help you for PGCE preparation. So just to flag that to you, there's all information here about PGCE. I know loads of you have got questions related to PGCE, your qualifications, how you get on. Everything is in these videos here. There's one of our heads of the PGCE, which is there, and I've done an interview with them. I've also interviewed all the heads of secondary and primary, so they're really useful videos to watch. Also, this module might flag to you, and I know in speaking to some of you, you're actually starting to think about, well, I want to be a teacher, but I don't want to work in a mainstream school. Have a look at these videos. So I've interviewed some head teachers from a PRU. There's a behaviour unit there. Some of you might think that, oh, I don't want to be a classroom teacher. Also, have a watch of these. They're only short. This is an educational consultancy. So they work with teachers. They provide creative ideas. Same with Guara here from Portal Training Consultancy. So you might want to work in with education, but this might give you an idea of, if you don't want to be a classroom teacher, what else you could get into. So they're short videos you've got there. I definitely recommend you guys, especially going into year two now and start to prepare for your PGC applications. Think about setting up things like Twitter, LinkedIn. I've made a short video there of why you might want to set one up and how you set up a Twitter profile. Short video there. There's some people of who you should follow. There's a LinkedIn webinar, what you need to include there. Also, I've included this year because a lot of people, a lot of the reps have been saying they're struggling with academic skills, struggling with referencing. Have a look through here. There's some workshops, digital workshops you can work through. There's no excuses. You know, year one is almost like a dress rehearsal ready for year two. So make sure that you get on point with referencing. You want to make sure that your referencing is spot on for year two. You'll be kicking yourself. Okay, so there's some short guides which are there. So make sure you engage with this placement page. It's not just about the placements. Obviously, before you go out on placement, you have to complete the workflow, which is 8 stages. You have to complete the risk assessment. You cannot go out on placement without that being signed off by our placements team. For health and safety, we can't allow you to go. It's a university procedure. Just get it done. There is guidance there. If you're struggling to find anything, any placements, have a look there. And I've also recorded placement expectations, which is a separate video there. Again, stressing this, please do not book any placement hours on the Monday. I've said that enough, just don't do it. We're going to be working with primary schools, so really, really excited. I've been chatting to the pupils already. They're really excited to be working with you. We're going to be working with Palmerston Primary. We're going to be working with pupils in the foundation phase from Lansana. Again, come to the sessions on Monday. We're going to be working with the children then. Placement. So in terms of your placement, this is an alternative setting. It's brilliant that most of you have found a placement already. If you haven't, immediately get in touch with me and I will put you in touch with the placement office. So these are, you have to earn them a minimum of 24 hours. Now I've spoken to a lot of you. You've said that you're going to do more than that, and that's absolutely fine. And you may want to continue this into the summer. And again, that's absolutely fine. It's a minimum of 24 hours and you need to use your timesheet, which can be found on the placement page. That will be signed by your placement mentor. Okay, so in terms of the placement, as I mentioned, it's going to be an opportunity for you to build your CV for your PGCE. So whether you're working in a secondary setting, in a nursery, again, start to think about how this is starting to build your CV. So you can see, you could say that you've seen how children, if you're working in a nursery, have developed from the nursery age to transition to primary. A lot of you work in secondaries, and you could talk about the transition there. We're working, as I mentioned, really closely with the Cardiff Met Careers Service. So again, use this time to start to get familiar with Mel and Claire in the team, and they can start to help you plan your future. You might do this at the end of the module, might do it halfway through. You might be at a bit of a crisis and think, oh, I've been to this PRU or I've been to this secondary. I absolutely loved it. I think I want to do that. So again, the whole point of this module is to try and open your eyes and broaden your horizons. A lot of our graduates don't actually go into primary education. They go into different things within education, and it all starts from year one. Okay, to give you a bit of a PES timeline in terms of how we work in terms of your career. So our idea is that we introduce these alternative settings. It might be that you absolutely hate it and you don't want to go back to there, and that's absolutely fine. But you guys finish in May, and the idea of that is that you will finish and you'll try and gain some experience working with children, as I've already said. Some of you may need to resit your GCSEs. So obviously you need to have the qualifications to get onto the PGCE. You need to have your Bs in maths, in science, in English. You might identify in this module that this needs to be done, and then you need to book in for GCSE. This might not give you enough time, and you might need to do this next year, but these are things you need to start to think about. In year two, we work really closely with the careers team to help you plan your PGCE application. You're all guaranteed an interview. You're not guaranteed a place. And one of the main reasons our PES graduates don't go through to PGCE is because they don't have enough experience working with children. And it's so frustrating because a number of us work on PGCE, we do the interviews, and we're just tearing our hair out, just saying, why didn't you get more experience, or why haven't you demonstrated this in your application? We've changed the course recently. We're hoping this is going to help. It's definitely helped our year twos this year. So we're working with the careers team. They're going to help you write your PGCE applications. They'll be written next summer, and then you apply in September. So it happens really quickly. You'll be in year three before you know it. UCAS applications open in September, so you need the summer to try and put the application together, get your references and things. So really, really important that your application process actually starts in year one, and you start to thinking about, building your CV, setting up Twitter, starting to think about how you're going to show on your interview what you've done over the 3 years. So it's important to start to think about this, and you could do that in this module. This module is all about launching your career. So starting to think about, not that you have to make any decisions today, but starting to think about what do you like, what do you not like, what do you definitely not want to do, what would you like to learn more about, and we can look and help and support you with that. In terms of your career then, we offer loads of things in Cardiff Met, and it's so frustrating with a lot of year threes have said to me, oh, I didn't know there was IT training. I didn't know you could help me with writing my PGCE application. That is why we're trying to flag all of this to you in year one. I would definitely start to think about setting up a professional Twitter account as a teacher. I've put a video on the placement page on how you can do that and why you'd want to do it. IT training, you guys could get your digital badges with Microsoft, with Apple. There's loads of different things that you could do over the summer. Again, all these things are going to help you stand out when you apply for PGC or apply for any of your jobs. You're going to have so much time. Use your time now. You'll be kicking yourself if you don't use your time now to try and do this. Obviously, it's university, have great fun, but you do have a lot of time to yourself. We encourage this independent learning, do these things. So identify where you need support. Again, we're going into year 2. Are you good with referencing? Where do you need support? Can you use academic sources? So go and book a meeting with your personal tutor. Try and plan some targets for next year. Start thinking about your teaching CV. Even if you start to just put it on a rough piece of Word, on a Word document, Mel can help you with that. So meet with careers and just start to think about what do you want to do in your career. Okay. In terms of the module assessment then, so you've done something similar with Dylan. Mine's a little bit different in that we're going to be using an actual digital portfolio. We're going to be using a blog that you would do if you're a teacher in a school. I'll tell you more. Okay, so this is a 3,000 word equivalent. So roughly 1,000 words for each section. There are 3 sections, section A, section B, and section C. 100% weighting, so if you fail this, you'll need to come back in the summer. Hopefully no one's going to fail. There's loads of support. Mainly, as you'll see in the marking criteria now, if you can come to the sessions, you can make the digital resources, you're going to be halfway there. Okay, so you're going to be expected to develop a portfolio. Again, we're trying to showcase to you a digital repository that you could start to collect work. A lot of students have carried this on through the 3 years that they then show a PGCE interview. The whole point of this is for you to explore digital literacy, digital competence, and numeracy, and you'll do that through these different blog titles. So I've said a 3,000 word equivalent. I get loads of questions about this. We'll go through this in the sessions. It's 3,000 words equivalent. You can go over, you can go under. It's a blog, so we need it to be multimedia. We need you to include videos. We need you to include links. We need you to include pictures. If it's just text, you're not going to do very well. The whole point of this is it's a multimedia platform. Use the multimedia. So create your own videos. You know, use TikTok, use Snapchat, whatever you're using to create little videos. It's going to give you that experience. As a teacher, you're going to be constantly making and creating. This is a great assignment to really show off your creativity. You might be thinking, Nick, I am not creative. Well, hopefully in this module, we can help with that creativity as well. Okay, so students will produce one blog, one continuous blog. They'll have section A, section B, section C. I'll go through that now. Okay, the marking criteria, everything you need is linked on the assessment page. Let's just dive in there. So you go to PES 4004, and this is the assessment and feedback. There's the pro forma. There are some examples. So there are some, you can look to see what a blog actually looks like, how it's laid out. These are really good examples from last year. There are the suggested blog posts, which we'll go through in a minute. Now, this is the success criteria. Please make sure you look at this. So important. You know what you're getting marks for. So you're getting 20 marks for the digital competence blog. Obviously, as you've learned now throughout the year, you need to support your ideas with key concepts. You also need to support with academic sources. You also, because this is linked to the curriculum document, you need to think about the curriculum documents. And as well, you guys are on placement. So you might be talking about something that you've seen on placement or something that you haven't seen on placement potentially. There's 20 marks for the numeracy blog, similar sort of thing. There's 20 marks for the placement blog. Quality of writing in an academic tone. It is a blog. I don't want you starting with, yo, Nick, what's up? It can be informal writing, but obviously don't do that. You'd be surprised. A lot of people do. So it's almost, think of it, you can write in the first person if you want, but think of it as almost as a, as if you're writing an essay, but on a blog. So you need to use an appropriate writing style. Use of multimedia, guys, you're getting 20 marks for this. So use sound files, use videos, use relevant links. You could be talking about something. You could be talking about some digital competency, something you've seen on placement. You might want to include a video from placement. You might want to include pictures from placement. You might have found a TED talk and you could include that. You might have found a journal article. You might want to include that. We want to see you making links and cross-curricular ideas being brought together in the blog. I'll go through that in the session, and you'll start to get an idea when you start to look at the examples from last year. If we just have text, you're not going to get very good marks, as you can see. Engagement, again, really, really important that you come into the sessions. If you miss the on-campus sessions, you're not going to be able to do the animation. You're not going to be able to work with children. You're going to miss so many different things. So don't miss the on-campus sessions. Only 4 of them. So really, really important. Again, if you did both of these, that's 30 marks. You're almost there. 40 is the pass. Okay, so really, really important. Engage with the marking criteria. Get it tattooed on your neck. It should be something that you're looking at for all assessments, is the assessment criteria. Okay. This is really useful. If you follow this link, these are the marking descriptors. So when we as lecturers design the assessments, we have to adhere to these marking assessments, which are the same across all the university. This is useful because it sets out, well, what is a level 4 or year 1? What are the expectations? What should a year 1 be doing to be a year 1 or level 4? And then you can have a look at, well, how does this jump up in level 5? And how does it jump up in level 6? Because you'll notice, this is your last module, there is quite a jump to level 5. So have a look at that document. I'm not going to go through it now. It's really useful for you to look at, especially in the summer when you're preparing for next year. Okay. Section A and B. So in section A is digital competency. Section B is all to do with the numeracy. So you guys, and again, a lot of year 1s, when we've done this, they haven't liked this to start. So if you find yourself thinking, oh, I don't like this at all, it's fine. Our year 2s now are doing this again. You'll do this again next year. You'll have your own free reign. They really like it now because they've got that autonomy. They've got that freedom to choose what they want to do. So you have a choice. You can choose any one of these for section A. So you can choose 1 through to 5 there. You can choose section B, you can choose any of those, and then section C is this, it's a reflection on the blog. So you might really, really like how teachers can use technology effectively in the primary classroom. You may be on placement and think, oh, do you know what? I really like this. I want to reword this. You can. The whole point of this is students have freedom to select one of the following and to follow your own interest. What we're trying to do is you guys to start to think about, well, what are you interested in as a primary teacher? What are you interested in education? Trying to build you up towards your dissertation, which you hopefully will choose a topic where you're interested in. So really important in this blog, do things you're interested in. It won't, obviously, I don't think you'll be getting out of bed going, yes, write my blog, but you might be a bit more interested in being told to write about something. Some people like it, some people don't. Okay, so we've got numeracy and we've got section B there. So these are the suggested blog titles. You can choose one of them. We know there's lots of writing. We know there's lots of academic sources. The reading lists are linked to these. If you do want to follow your own, then you can, but run it past me or run it past Dougie before you do that. Really, really important that you do. Okay. So they are the suggested blog titles, which are here. So there are lectures linked to every single one of these. And again, there's reading linked to them as well. Same for the numeracy. So again, stay within the areas of learning and experience. It should be linked to digital competence. It should be linked to numeracy. Keep your dissertation in mind. Think about what you're interested in. All right, a big one. It's the end of year 1 now. You know, when you first started, I know some of you still do this. Please stop doing this. You know, I'll ask you to back up ideas, back up your ideas with academic sources. The first thing that you'll do is to go onto Google, type it in and copy and paste. Anyone can do that. I've been working with a school in year 3. They do that. Guys, this is higher education now. Really, really important that you are doing the reading. You get a lot of directed independent study in the week, you should be doing the reading. So what I would do as a starting place, we do a lot of the reading, or start a lot of the reading off for you. In the lectures, they're jam full of references, introduction to reading. Look at my reference list and then go off and do your own reading. Same for the seminars. Look at the recommended reading list. Definitely look at the recommended reading tasks. You know, they are directly linked to the blog posts. So look at the reading list as well. MetSearch, you know, I've done videos on how you can find on MetSearch. If you want me to go through that again in the sessions, no problem, I can do that. We've got academic librarians who are specifically paid to help you guys. Go and book a meeting with them. Other modules as well. You might have done some reading, again, with Dylan or with literacy. It could be your most recent. You might have read something on a childhood ed, for example, with me. You can still bring that reading into this module just because it's separate. They're not standalone. You should be trying to connect all of these different modules together to build your understanding of theory. Okay, so blog expectations are, you know, you're going to be making stuff. So like the first session, you're going to be making some animations. We want to see those videos on your blog. You need to make links to your own experience, to your placement. You need to make links to your curriculum. You need to make links to theory I introduce in the lectures. You need to support ideas with academic sources, so do the reading. Again, it's already, I've done all the thinking for you. You need to just think about, well, how does it link? Support with multimedia, so try and make some videos, try and make some sound files. Balance ideas, so don't just prove one point. So you might say, for example, that all teachers are going to be replaced by robots. Try and bring that balance, and that's what we're looking for in year 2, is that balance then that, well, maybe all teachers won't be replaced by robots, for an example. So be critical, try and evaluate ideas. Don't just try and prove one thing, try and provide that balance. That's how you are critical. So it's not just a description of what we did in university sessions. Some of the not so great blogs last year, a lot of students just wrote it as like a captain's log. In today's session, we did this. Well, that's great, I was there. What we want you to do is to evaluate, well, we did this because it links to this theory. We did this because the curriculum expectation says this. So you're starting to evaluate, why did you do it? Okay, so use ideas, theory from other modules, that's absolutely fine. It's the end of the year now, you can look back and reflect on what have you done. Make sure, I say this every year and it doesn't always happen, but make sure blogs are coherent and they make sense to the reader. I think for some reason, some students just write this as like they're writing a text message. It should be written like an essay. I would read each other's to help each other. So look at each other's, look at your seminar group, share them. This is a blog. You could do this while you're on the bus, while you're going home from uni. I like it because you could just do the session and write a blog straight away. I think I prefer this if I was in university to maybe a traditional essay. Just me, maybe. Really important, your academic tone. You know, you can write in the first person, but try and retain that formal tone. Really important is the structure. So start thinking about what's the introduction, what's going to come up in your blog, what's the main body, and at the end, a little conclusion to say and sum up everything that you've talked about. All right, talking a little bit of detail in terms of section C. So this is all to do with your placement. So you need to critically reflect on your experience. So you need to think about the benefits, but also some of the challenges with the placement. Look to, and the whole point of this is you need to detail any employability skills. So you may have not achieved much, but you might have just, for your own understanding, thought, I've done secondary, I definitely don't want to do that again. And that's absolutely fine. It's all helping to build an informed decision to what you want to do in your career. Okay. Please don't name individual students. Ethically, you shouldn't be doing that. This must be a reflective post. It shouldn't just be critical. It's really easy to go, sit at the back and say that teacher wasn't very good. Again, be kind. You know, we're going through a really troubling public health situation at the moment. The purpose of this isn't for you to be really critical of the teacher, for example, or if you're in a nursery, of the practitioners. The whole point of this is for you to start to think about, well, was there any numeracy? Was there any digital competence? How was it used, and how did it develop learning potentially? So we are going to ask you in section C to follow the Gibbs reflective cycle. You are going to embrace Mr. Gibbs. You guys are going to get close. You use Gibbs. I've used Gibbs for a number of years. When I first started teaching, it helps with your reflection. It's a bit hard to get used to, but I really like it now, and it just makes things really, really quick. So I would use these subheadings. So we've got description, feeling, evaluation, analysis, conclusion, and action plan. I would set them out. So section C, little subheading, description. So the description of the setting. Where did you work? How many people work there? If it's a school, how many children are there? Those sort of things. A bit of a pen portrait of where you are. Your feelings is obviously how you felt before and after. An evaluation, analysis, conclusion, and then you've got an action plan. I'll go into these in a bit more detail. So in your description, these things might be helpful. So what happened, who was present, why were you there, that sort of thing. The next subheading would be your feelings. So how are you feeling at the start? How are you feeling at the end? Maybe you're talking about a specific situation and you talk about that in detail. How did you feel? How did you feel at the end of it? I'm rushing through this. You can go through this in your own time. The evaluation. So think about what was good about, if you're using an example, what was bad, potentially what could be developed, what didn't go so well, what could the teacher do to improve. Your analysis then, you could try and think and link to academic literature here if you're using a specific example. And then your conclusion. So you might conclude that, yeah, secondary is not for me. Again, think then how this informs your action plan. Well, I don't want to work in secondary, so I'm going to get more experience in a primary school. Or actually, do you know what? I've been working in a PRU. I absolutely love that. I want to get more experience with that. They've mentioned about getting training in emotional development. I'm going to do a course in the summer. So again, detail in your action plan. What are you going to do? That's what we want to see. The whole point of this module is that you've had a flavour of an educational experience. How is it painted? How is it informed your career? Okay, so in terms of your you doing this, I definitely have a look at some of the examples from last year. There's some really good examples which are on the assessment page. Look at those, they will help. So you've got section A, section B, section C. At the end of section A, so all the in-text citations you've used, you'll put a reference list. So at the bottom of every post, you'll put your reference list. Don't put a big one at the bottom, just put, so all of quotes you've used section A, reference list for section A. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, we're going to be using something called, it used to be called Adobe Spark. It's now called Adobe Creative Cloud. Some of you might have used Adobe Spark before. The reason that we're doing this is that it's going to give you some really good experience for when you become a teacher. No doubt you're going to be managing a digital portfolio as a teacher. No doubt you're going to be managing probably Adobe, because Welsh Government have invested heavily in, as you can see here, in Adobe. You have an Adobe account as a Cardiff Met student. You've got so many apps, which I'll show you now, that you can use. I use it a lot just for, I was a best man at a wedding recently. I edited my whole video on Adobe Spark. It's absolutely brilliant and it's free. So as a teacher in Wales, you're probably going to be using Adobe software. All the students that have done this, so they did it last year, actually learned some really good digital skills. So you're going to up your digital skills as well by managing this blog. Before we get into the blog, what you have to do now as a new university requirement is you have to back up your work. So what I would do is I would write your blogs on a Word document and then transfer them to your blog. It hasn't happened to me, but I know colleagues and I know schools have lost work. These are obviously free digital platforms. Sometimes servers can lose work. The university policy is that if it's lost, the university won't accept that as an excuse. So please make sure on a Word document, you back this up and then you can transfer it across. I get that it's a bit of a pain to do it, but you'd hate yourself if Adobe lost your work. Okay, let's have a look at Adobe then. So if you just go on to Google Adobe Express and you'll come to this page, you'll need to set up a login. I'm already logged in, as you can see here. So you can just use your university account or just use an email. Now, just like Google, there's all these different apps. So again, as a teacher, you're going to use loads of these different apps, especially as your time as a student as well. You're going to use these as well. We're going to use something called a Creative Cloud Express. So if you click on that, this is Adobe Creative Cloud. I absolutely love this. Use it a lot on Twitter as well. You could use it for Instagram, all your influencers out there. You could use an Instagram post, Facebook post, posters. I know loads of teachers that use this for posters, logos. This is brilliant, and it's all free as well. You could make your own GIFs. You could make so you've got section A, you could make a poster for section A and then upload that as a picture to your blog. I'll show you now. To set up your blog, you've got the plus sign, which is there. There's all these different things you can use for free, but we're just interested in web page. So this is your blog. Okay, you're going to add a title. So AOLE blog, Nick's blog. Obviously, you don't have to put this. Some people last year had a brilliant idea. They uploaded a video, so they had a video intro. So they said, hello, my name is Mr. Smith. Welcome to my blog. So you had that greeting you as soon as you start. If you press the plus button here, you can add a photo, or there's all these different options. There's photo, there's text, there's buttons. So you could use links to different web pages. You can drop in videos, you can add in photos. And the brilliant thing with a photo is you can upload your own, so maybe from placement, or you could find your own find your own photos. So education, bang. And no doubt they can't find that because it's not spelled right. Okay, so then, oh, that's a nice one. Let's stick that in. So you can see here, starting to take shape. I might want to add in, let's go, some text. Welcome to my very shouty, but my blog. There you go. So you can see it's starting to take shape. There, you might have seen when you make any changes. So we add in a photo. It's got the save in there, so it saves online. But again, you have to back this up. Make sure you do all the text first, then copy and paste across. You can play around with the formatting. You don't get any marks for formatting, but obviously you want it to look nice. Okay, some things to point out. You can preview before you press publish and share. So when you press publish and share, this is to show that you are ready to go. So don't do this until the final week. Okay, really, really important that you publish and share the link. We are not going to be chasing you over the summer. If you've done all this work and you forget to share the link with us, you could potentially fail this module. So important that you publish and share the link. You'll use that link then, you'll put that on the pro forma and you upload that to Turnitin. I can't stress this enough. You have to do that, okay? So publish and share. So when your blog is all ready to go, publish and share, the link, copy, put it on the pro forma, submit that to Turnitin, and you're good to go. So that is a very quick overview of how to use Adobe Creative Cloud. Super easy to use. If you want any more information on that, I can show you in the sessions. All right, so we've said there, back up your work. It's one continuous blog, as I've said. You need to make sure you've got a reference list underneath each section. So section A, section B, section C. Guys, please, you should all be getting full marks for this. You know, come to the sessions. We're going to be making animations. We're going to be making green screens. We're going to be making some really fun videos with children. They need to go in your blog, 100%. They need to go in there, okay? So videos, apps, sound files, web links, pictures, posters, all things that you've created. Obviously, the things that you've created, you're going to get more marks for. So if you've made a video saying, hello, welcome to my blog on Snapchat with a big nose, I don't know, whatever filter you use, you're going to get more marks than somebody who's just written text, welcome to my blog. So think about, we're encouraging you to use apps that we show you in uni, but also things you might use in your own personal life to bring your blog to life. You know, be creative with it. You're going to do it as a teacher. Do it now. Okay. To upload your assessment, you'll find on the assessment page a pro forma document. Fill that out in detail. Please, it says on the student name, student number, underneath that it'll say strengths, areas for development. Don't just put one word. Make sure you fill that in detail. Again, we're trying to get you to reflect. This is the end of your year one. Think about, well, what have you done well on this blog? What could you do to improve? And this will inform next year when you take that step up to level 5. So please take some time. Don't just do this 3 minutes before you hand in. I'm saying this now. Please be kind to yourself. Don't do it. Hopefully you can hand it in. Make sure you look through the different sections of Moodle. Everything you need is on Moodle. Anything that's not clear, please get in touch with me. As you know, I'll put it back on the site. There's loads going on with this. So if there's anything that's not clear, please get in touch. But I'm really looking forward to getting started with you. See you soon. I'm just going to stop recording now.